Hello everyone. Today we're going to do the final preparation to start the main engine. I think the actual start will be in the next video. We'll only have a few more systems to prepare and to start up before we can turn over the main engine. So we're at the local control panel at the moment for the main engine. Let's see, we do have starting air. We also have control air. We have cooling. Last video we provided preheated heating the cooling water already. So first let's go to the lubrication because we are at the moment have no pressure in the main engine. This is the first lubrication part, two storage tanks that will fill up this measuring tank. So let's open this valve and this filter valve, and now we can start this pump that provides lubrication circulation to the main engine. Also, let's look at this system. Open these two valves so we can later start the pumps. Lubrication is cooled via one of these two fresh water coolers. So we should open the fresh water heat exchangers so we can cool the lubrication oil when needed. And when we're here at the moment, we're also going to open the other freshwater valves to cool the main engine. And let's look around at the freshwater system in whole. Normally everything should now up and running. We're using cooling the steam condenser. Just put on this part. Already used fresh air to cool the air compressors. The air conditioning is also running, providing water to the cooling water to the boiler. Main engine is now okay. We're using one pump for the one heat exchanger, so that seems already almost okay. We have and confirm it 36 degrees. Okay, let's go back where we left with the lubrication part. So these freshwater coolers are now set. The temperature is controlled via this control valve, this bypass valve. It's an auto mode, so that's okay. Let's open this valve, and now we have a complete circuit and we can start this main lubrication pump. We do have pressure and flow, so that's okay. Let's put the second pump in the remote. So if we check back again, we now have pressure from the lubrication oil. This was the first part of lubrication. Second part is using the lubrication oil to make a seal around the main shaft. Let's prepare that one. Using this gravity tank via this pump, this cooler if needed, over there. So we have a closed circuit, we can start this pump. Match the pressures. And the second part, and these valves also via heat exchanger, going to this part, starting that pump. And we also have a flow. So now we have lubrication all around the main shaft. In this part we can transfer the lubrication oil from one tank to another tank and later on to the separators. These are the 4 separators that we have available to separate water from the oil. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we go to the seawater systems that we already set up the previous part. So I think that's everything for the lubrication. Let's check also some panels from the engine control room. Previous we put the 3 compressors in remote, so they are now controlled via this panel. They are an auto, that's okay. This panel should provide control for the lubrication, but I haven't figured it out yet. So if everyone can help me out, please put some comments in the video below. These are more or less the same dials that we have in the local main engine control panel. where we see we have pressure and the two bottles starting air. We also now have pressure from the lubrication oil. Only what we need is now for the fuel. We don't have any red warnings anymore in the safety systems now that we have almost everything set up to start the main engine. So what's prevented it from now? We need to start the auxiliary blowers. So we have a positive pressure in the engine room. These are already controlled remote to this panel. So if I put this on manual, I can start the 4 auxiliary blowers. Now we have a green light also over here. Next part is the heavy fuel oil. We already circulated last time and heating it up where needed, but we left this bypass valve open to make a complete circulation. So now I will close this bypass valve so we do have pressure to the main engine. We still have low viscosity. It should, I thought it would picked up already some temperature from the steam system. It is in auto mode. Let's try open this bypass valve. Then indeed we have rise in pressure, so we do have steam. But for some reason, apparently it is necessary to heat up the heavy fuel at this moment. Fuel is going back to this mixing tank. Mixing tank is filled via the main systems. I'm going to start second pump. Let's see if it now picks up some temperature. Yeah, leave it for now and we'll visit it again later on. So we now have lubrication pressure and fuel pressure and we are set to start our main engine. The first procedure before we'll do that is we will engage the turning gear. We'll open the indicator cocks and via the turning gear we will expel some previous exhaust gases in the cylinders. It's quite a complicated scheme, but from the moment we only need to concentrate on this bottom part where the turning gear is now disengaged from the main shaft, but with pressure provided from the control air, and this valve we now have engaged the turning gear, and as a safety system we also cut off a lot of other valves, so it's impossible now to start the main engine accidentally because it's preparing to turn via the turning gear. You see the turning gear is now engaged, so we're starting the turning gear motor provided with power, and you see we have now a very slow RPM of the main shaft, so it's turning, and so the exhaust gas will be put out of the cylinders. Now that we have lubrication, it is safe to do. So I believe it for this video. I think we have everything now set up for the next video to start up the main engine.